Bode. Thanks for inviting me to this interview. I'm delighted to be here. So I come from Prague, Czech Republic. I've been living in Ireland for past 15 years. And I have a lifelong interest in relationship between people and nature. Hence, my interest in environmental science. I studied sustainable care of biosphere in Prague 15 years ago. And recently, I was one of the first graduates in a new program, Bioeconomy with Business, here in Ireland.
Yeah, and I'm really fascinated, Jana, to know that I suppose with your background, with all that experience you had, what were you looking for from a program like the postgraduate diploma?
I suppose considering that I studied good like 15 years ago, I was looking to get back into the field, to update myself. To me, it sounded really exciting, I suppose, and it was a different approach for me because before it was my first study program was very environmentally geared from the perspective of the nature, and this one was more from the perspective of society. This was like a socio-economic model, looking at how we can utilize the resources in a more meaningful way, I suppose, and maybe regained balance. So it was like from a different perspective. It was to my natural makeup, it was maybe a little bit too technical, which I appreciated. Then the Innovation Through Design Thinking program was tapping into the creative potential again.
Yeah, and it's a lovely way of putting it, the creative potential. And had you any sort of concerns or fears joining the program, Jana?
So I had expectations, I suppose. The previous program, which were fabulous, equipped me with some knowledge, but it didn't really teach me the tools, how I can apply this knowledge in the real world. So I was looking at the Innovation Through Design Thinking because it is a creative problem-solving method, to maybe give me practical tools how I can transfer the knowledge and benefit the society through the tools that I would be taught in the program. And I must say, you delivered on that promise. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and I think you really delivered, Jana. Can you tell us a bit about the project, because it really ties in with some of those elements you've just spoken about, the environmental part, maybe the bringing out the best in the individual, finding how the individual might fit in with that bigger picture of the planet.
So in the second semester, when we, had the option to choose a project, I really kind of looked at, okay, so, I have the qualification, but I mean, what is my perspective? What can I bring? What can I bring to the space? And that's where I started looking at the, developmental theories of like psychosocial development, how the society influences us, and how our identity and personality is developed and formed, and how it ties to the professional identity. So there was a lot of background in that. There was a lot of background in humanistic psychology for my project. And I looked at motivational theories as well, where of course the Maslow's hierarchy of needs popped up. And I kind of started thinking in nowadays society, when we have such a deep insights into different sciences, and the knowledge is really very detailed, then I kind of started thinking but do we really have a deep knowledge of ourselves, and how could we connect the external knowledge that we source from the development of different fields, if we could merge it with our own inner potential. And that's pretty much the project I was working on, and the artifact I created, I called GIFT, which is the acronym for Graduate Identity Formative Tool.
I think it's really interesting, Jana, because I can see you came on the program in a way, to realize your potential, and maybe, you had that education, that desire, that interest, especially in the environmental bit, but also during the program, you were creating really a solution that would help others also realize their potential. And I think that's really, really interesting. And I really love your model. You were talking about sort of the integrated self, the concept of the integrated self, that it isn't just about the usual stuff we talk about careers, where can I get a job that will pay well, etc., etc. You're saying really you also have to find nearly the essence of the person, and that a person's career should integrate with that essence. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I suppose the tool, as you say, could be described as a career self-integrated coaching tool. So it has several steps, and currently, or when I was finishing the program, it was a suite of tools, which was grounded in the themes that I talked about before, the psychosocial development and formation of personality. And it pretty much helps the individuals to externalize their own strengths and abilities, their interpersonal skills, also maybe look at their underdeveloped areas, because there is a lot of potential in that as well. And it also looks at values. Like for me, this was a huge learning curve, because first of all, I didn't have the vocabulary, so like one thing is to have gain some skills and knowledge, but then the other thing is to really being able to communicate it to others. So in that tool, in step by step, I'm pretty much sort of providing a space and perhaps vocabulary for the individual who's working with the tool to define, their edges, the areas of their interests, and also connecting the left hemisphere, which is the knowledge and the qualification, with the right hemisphere, tapping into the creative potential of their own. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. And like, it is a point well worth even repeating, Jana, though, this idea, yeah, we may develop skills, and we may, I suppose, have skills suited for a certain maybe career, but ultimately you also have to do that self-exploration, and your tool allows the individual, either on their own or maybe coach, to start on that journey of exploring, of even finding out who they themselves are, which I think is that integrated model, which I think is really, really cool. Jana, where is this going to go? Have you aspirations, dreams for this to go further?
So I would love to. I would love to maybe ground it more in the research that has already been done, perhaps in the humanistic psychology, and really kind of get it refined. But my vision, my ideal vision, would be to perhaps distribute this tool to even like secondary, students leaving the secondary education, because at that age, there are a lot of pressures. The students have only a very limited time with the career guidance professionals. So I think if at that stage, the students or the individuals are able to tap into it and think about it, that it's not really about fulfilling just the external demands, but really looking at like, okay, what is it that's going to make me happy? What do I have and what can I do with it? So I think that would be a huge help. And I think also, even like where we are going as a society with the artificial intelligence, the lot of occupations will be probably disappearing in the future, and maybe even the working for living won't be a thing anymore, you know. So then the question of like, okay, so what am I going to do with my time here, you know, on the planet? Like that's gonna be like a $1 million question, and I hope this theme is going to be opening more and more. And then it's just really about finding ways how to connect with ourselves, you know, and how to transfer this potential to what we do.
Yeah, I really like that to know what would make me happy, as in the person who's maybe using this tool. It's such a fundamental question, and that concept of meaningfulness. How can I live a more meaningful life on this planet? You know, because we're only here for a certain period of time. Yeah, and I'm sure there's people going to be listening to this that are interested. Is there some sort of call to action here? Would you like people to maybe contact you, or are you interested in people contacting you to maybe work this out a bit further?
Absolutely, yes. So I'm on LinkedIn. So I think my email is there as well. I'm open to anyone who would have anything to, you know, add to this theme, or who would like to cooperate further. I am really excited about maybe even connecting the environmental science with the, you know, with art. I think that has a huge potential. Yeah, so absolutely up for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll definitely share the link to your LinkedIn profile as well, Jana. Yeah, you know, there's also maybe people considering joining this program, whether it's this coming year or in the future. Any words of advice, good, bad, or indifferent?
So from practical point of view, really, like, it's important to be organized. That's like absolutely, because there is such a rich content and there is a lot to learn. And then I would like to say what, like, my experience was that no idea is too small and no problem is too big. So, you know, like, really, it's exciting. You offer a lot of space to experiment, to really expand, and, you know, I would say go into the program open-minded and also open to other people's opinions, because there is such a vast variety of professionals from various backgrounds. So, you know, I mean, there's so much to learn from everyone. So I would say, yes, be open-minded and just explore.
Yeah, so be organized, be open, and you've a journey ahead of you. And I'm just thinking, Jan, as well, actually, you know, we always sort of advocate people find projects that are meaningful to the individual, that they maybe in some cases are really passionate about. And I'm just thinking, actually, some of your framework, that idea of the integrated self, could be a really valuable way of even helping future people on the program to find those real passion projects, you know. And maybe that's something we can talk about going down the line as well. And it's just something that occurred to me now. Jana, thank you so much for your time. I know you've been busy and we've been trying to slot this in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Buddy. It was a pleasure.